Shasta Valley as the template example of a volcanic sector collapse. His Shasta field notebooks are archived at the USGS to this day. He warned about this mountain before most Californians knew it was a threat. And Shasta does not need an eruption to kill. Between 1924 and 1931, the Conwakiton Glacier on the south flank released a series of outburst floods into the canyon of Mud Creek. No earthquake, no eruption, just ice, clay, gravity, and heat from below. An estimated 23 million cubic meters of mud came down off the mountain. It buried 6 square kilometers of forest and meadow above the town of McLeod. It filled Mud Creek Falls Canyon. It buried the tracks of the McLeod River Railroad. The U.S. Geological Survey has mapped more than 70 non-eruptive debris flows off Shasta in the last 10,000 years. The mountain sheds itself, routinely. Picture it. On a September morning in 1924, a McLeod lumberman stepped out of a bunkhouse on the McLeod River Railroad logging spur up Mud Creek. The air smelled wrong, wet, mineral. He walked to where the rail line had been the night before, and the rail line was not there. The valley below the camp was full of gray mud, still moving, still steaming, carrying full-grown fir trees sideways. The glacier 4 miles above him, the Conwakiton, had let go in the dark. No one in McLeod that morning had felt a tremor. No one had heard a roar. The mountain had done it quietly. The Heritage Junction Museum in McLeod still holds the photographs. Gray mud reached up to the eaves of the bunkhouses. A rail line ending in nothing. Now put a modern town at the end of that flow. McLeod, California. Population 1,020 as of the 2020 census. McLeod sits directly in the Mud Creek and Upper McLeod River Lahar corridor. The 1924 target. Still there. Mount Shasta City. Population 3,221. It sits on the southwest flank. Weed, California. Population 2,617. Weed sits directly below the Shastina cone, the second youngest of the 4 overlapping cones, at roughly 9,500 years old. The College of the Siskiyous in Weed sits inside the inundation zone that USGS geologist Dwight Crandall drew on his 1980 Miller hazard map for a Whitney Creek or Bolam Glacier collapse. William Hurt, a geologist at the College of the Siskiyous, leads his students on field trips onto the Shasta Valley hummocks themselves. Teachers walk students across the scar of the last collapse while living on the next one. Dunsmuir, population 1,620, sits in the Sacramento River Canyon south of Mount Shasta City. The Union Pacific Main Line, one of the most critical freight rail corridors on the West Coast, runs straight through Dunsmuir. The 1989 Kantara Loop chemical spill just north of town already proved how fragile that corridor is to a single incident. Siskiyou County has a resident population around 43,000. Add Interstate 5 traffic, seasonal tourism, summer climbers on the Avalanche Gulch route, and the day population in the exposure zone climbs toward 50,000 people. Interstate 5 itself crosses directly through the mapped lahar inundation zones of Whitney Creek and the Shasta River, west of the mountain. A repeat of the ancestral Shasta Valley event would bury the interstate. It would sever the primary road connection between California and Oregon. Within 10 minutes of a flank failure high on the Hotlam or Conwakiton cones, meltwater and clay-rich debris would be moving down Mud Creek toward McLeod at the speed of a freight train. Within 20 minutes, the flow front would be in the Upper McLeod River drainage. Within 40 minutes, inundation zones mapped west of the summit could reach the Shasta River and the Interstate 5 corridor between Weed and Wairika. And the climbers at 13,000 feet on the Red Banks route, who every summer report the smell of sulfur venting from the rock near the summit, would already know. The live hydrothermal system on Hotlam Cone has never stopped. Climbers smell it every season. Rangers at the Mount Shasta Ranger Station on West Alma Street log the reports. 26 cubic kilometers of ancestral mountain already sit in Shasta Valley as hummocks. 23 million cubic meters of mud were delivered by a single glacier in a single year without an eruption.